I had an idea to create sort of a shimmering text effect. And this is something I've seen in some of Facebook's apps. I know Facebook Paper did this for a loading state. So I'm going to kind of riff off of that. And I've never tried building this before, so I'm doing it live. So bear with me if something goes wrong. What I've done is I've typed some text into a screen here, and I've just got a black background. Now I want to have a shimmer effect run across the text. So what I'm going to do is put a gradient into this box. And let's switch to a gradient fill. I'm here in Sketch just setting up my screen, and then I'm going to import it into Flinto. So I'm going to make a gradient. Let's change this background to a dark gray for a moment. Set up this gradient. It's going from black to white. What I want to do is go from black to white and then back to white again. So I'm going to put a spot in the middle of this gradient. That'll be white, and then black on either side. All right, maybe not a super bright white, but I'll tone it down a little bit. All right, now I'm going to set the background color back to black. And that's the gradient I'm going to use. I want to turn this text into kind of a mask. So I'm just going to put a black rectangle here. No, you know what? If I change this gradient to use transparency, if I make these white, but all the way transparent, so either side here is transparent. And then, no, I should actually make those black, make the middle black, outside black. So I've got 3 points that are all black. The middle one is opaque, and the side ones are transparent. So the opacity is 0 on those. This middle one, maybe I'll use like 50% opacity. Now I can just kind of run this over the top here to see my shimmer effect. I think it's too light in the middle. Let's darken that up. All right, I guess that's the effect I'm going for there. So I'll pass this over the top of it, and that'll create my shimmering text effect. Okay, so let's import this into Flinto using the Send to Flinto Sketch plugin. And I'm going to create a behavior around the text and this mask. So I'm going to group those together. I'll call this shimmer and click the behavior button to create a new behavior. Now I just realized I should probably be more careful with how I position this rectangle at the start. So I'm going to save and exit out of the behavior designer, and I'm going to place this rectangle layer over here to the right of the text, so it's ready to come in over the top of it. All right, with that group selected, I'll go back into the behavior designer. I'm going to click Edit Behavior here in the inspector for that behavior I just created. And so I've got this state where the gradient is over on the right, and I'm going to make another state. I'll call it left, and I'll move the gradient over to the left of the text, so it's passed over the text. Now I'm going to use the spacebar to toggle between these two states, and that's moving way too fast, I think. So I'll use classic easing, move the duration up to 600 milliseconds. That's a little more reasonable. Let's give that a try. I'll set this up so that on the initial state, if I click here, I'll put a link right over the top of the text. So when I click on it, it'll go to this state. And then from this state, I want it to automatically go back to the initial state. So I'm going to make a timer link, and I did a right-click drag there. Let me do that again. So you right-click drag. That's a shortcut for creating a timer link. And I'm going to put 0 milliseconds as the timeout. And I'm going to click this button here, which is the skip animation option. So what this means is once I arrive at this left state, it's going to wait 0 milliseconds, which means it's not going to wait at all. And then it's going to jump back to the initial state, and it's not going to animate. It's just going to immediately jump back. Click Done. And let me show you why I did that. So I'll open up the preview, and when I click here, it will animate to the left state, which means the rectangle that's currently on the right will animate across to the left. Then it will jump back to the right, but you won't see it jump because it'll happen with the skip animation option. So it'll instantly be over on the right. And then if I click again, it should just continually play that gradient floating over the top of the text. Cool, so that's working. Maybe it's a little too fast. I'm going to come in here and select this rectangle, and I'll slow it down to 1,000 milliseconds. Cool, that looks better. It's not so much a shimmer as it is kind of like a ghostly text, kind of like a shadow being cast across it, but kind of a neat effect. And you could imagine how you could change up the colors here and maybe make it into more of a true shimmer. I didn't quite know what I was getting into, but I think that's kind of cool. And I like how it resets so I can repeatedly click on it.